Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
A search is underway as crews are looking for a 7-year-old boy who disappeared in the Tar River. We're live on the scene as that search intensifies. And it's a new start. NC State University has a new chancellor. How he plans to tackle mounting issues like federal budget cuts, to Poe Hall fallout, even finding a men's basketball coach. And education hurdles. How the Trump administration's new policies will impact Wake County schools and schools all across our state. We are following breaking news here at noon as crews are still searching for a 7-year-old boy who disappeared in the Tar River in Franklinton. Sky 5 is over that scene as the search enters its 20th hour now. I want to thank you for joining us this noon. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. He was last seen around 5:30 yesterday evening. Water temperatures were in the 50s around that time, and the Tar River was nearly 9 feet deep after days of rain. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is live at the scene now where crews are searching. And Heidi, within the hour, you got an update from Franklin County Emergency Management.
And Jeff, we're told that search for this 7-year-old boy resumed around 9 a.m. this morning. 8 different agencies or more from across the triangle are here. Take a look at a few of those right over this way. Wake Forest Fire Department and Franklin County EMS. Now, if you take a look down this path, that is where this search and rescue effort is playing out. We've actually just got an update that we are going to be able to make our way down there after this and give a live look at what this is looking like. Now, go ahead and take a look at this footage from Sky 5. You can see crews are searching the Tar River this morning. Now, authorities say the boy was playing near the water and fell in last night around 5:30. Crews searched for just over 7 hours last night before stopping overnight for their safety. Now, emergency management says they're doubling down on their search and rescue operation today with more resources.
We're leveraging more resources, more boats, more sonar, underwater drones, and aerial drones to really take a systematic approach to searching the river for this child.
Now, earlier this morning, we were able to speak with family members of that missing 7-year-old. They say they're asking for thoughts and prayers from everyone out there, of course, just holding on to hope. Now, one more thing that we will mention. Now, Franklin County Emergency Management said they've gotten a lot of requests for volunteers to come down here and help with search and rescue. They say that at this time they don't need any help and they're leaving that to the trained professionals. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Franklin County.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Durham police are investigating after 2 people were stabbed earlier this morning. This happened on Liberty Street. We actually have video from Sky 5 that was over the scene. This is what we know. Officers found 1 female victim who had been stabbed. A second female victim was also stabbed. She was found near the intersection of Main Street and Dillard Street. Both women went to the hospital. The first victim with non-life-threatening injuries, the second victim with serious injuries. Now, the stabbing remains under investigation, and police do believe this was an isolated incident. They don't think anyone is in danger at this time.
Thanks, Michelle. And we're following more breaking news here at noon. NC State has a new chancellor. Kevin Howell will now take over the role as the university's 15th chancellor. He succeeds Chancellor Randy Woodson, who is retiring in June after 15 years. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live on campus right now. Howell will be a familiar face to those who back the pack. Sean.
Yeah, that's for sure. Not only is he an alum and former student body president, but held a number of executive positions for years, but now the new leader of the pack as the next chancellor here at NC State. Now, Howell checks a couple of firsts for the university. He'll be the first African-American chancellor in NC State history and also the first former student body president to hold that position. Now, after 2 years with UNC's School of Medicine, Howell comes back to his alma mater and the place he's called home for the majority of his adult life, holding various executive positions at NC State since 2006. Now, UNC System President Peter Hans nominated Howell to a unanimous approval by the Board of Governors. Hans pointing to Howell's ability to draw bipartisan support as one of the many character traits for why he's the right person for this job.
It's going to take a leader with an intuitive sense of how to create productive networks of talent, goodwill, and enduring support. Someone with a natural appreciation for the whole ecosystem that sustains an enterprise as big and as broad as a public research university. In short, someone like Kevin Howell.
And excitement is exactly how Howell is feeling in a statement saying that he is excited. NC State is a brilliant and inspiring place, just like the state we serve. There are exciting days ahead for the Pack, and I'm ready to make a difference. Now, Howell was among 4 finalists endorsed by the NC State Board of Trustees. He will officially start in about a month and a half on May 5th, but later today, the school is going to hold a ceremony to honor him being nominated, where we will be there hoping to hear from Howell about how he's feeling about this appointment for the first time. On NC State's campus, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
Within the last hour, the family of an 8-year-old girl who was shot and killed by another child announced they are suing their former babysitter and the man who owned the gun. Genesis Dockery died after she was shot at a home in Cumberland County in July of 2023. Police say the babysitter's 11-year-old son stole the gun from his grandfather's safe and accidentally shot Genesis. Coming up at 12:30, we'll hear from her father, Fawn Dockery, as he fights for justice in his daughter's death. We've learned the name of the driver killed in a car crash in Raleigh late last night. Police say 52-year-old Donnie Nesbitt died. The crash happened at South New Hope Road and South Rogers Lane just before 11:30. Police say Nesbitt was speeding on a curve, hit a curb, then hit a tree. It is a beautiful spring day as we look live over downtown Cary. Look at that, not a cloud in the sky, and it gets even warmer tomorrow. Meteorologist Amy Wilmoth is here to show us who could see temperatures in the 80s. But first, Goldilocks weather today.
Right, beautiful outside today, and yes, it will be warmer tomorrow. It's already 61 in Raleigh right now, 61 in Durham, 58 in Rocky Mount, 62 now in Fayetteville. So temperatures continue to climb. Many of us woke up to temperatures in the 30s this morning, so we've made some really good progress. We'll get into the low 70s for highs this afternoon. It's beautiful with tons of sunshine. It's just absolutely gorgeous outside today. And tomorrow, high pressure will be centered to the south of us. That's going to drive in a southerly to southwesterly flow, and it will be even warmer as we head into Wednesday afternoon. 81 for the high in Raleigh, 82 in Durham, 83 in Fayetteville. So it is going to be very warm tomorrow afternoon after beautiful weather today. And then the next weather maker, it's a cold front and it arrives Thursday, brings a chance for rain. I'll time that out for you coming up in just a little bit.
Amy, thanks for that. A Wake County Sheriff's detention officer has been arrested and charged with trafficking, selling, and providing drugs to inmates. Warrants say Devin Williams is accused of trying to sell fentanyl, synthetic cannabinoids, and buprenorphine. He is charged with felony conspiracy to traffic heroin, providing contraband to inmates, and possessing controlled substances on jail premises. Williams has a court appearance in 90 minutes. He's in jail right now under a $2 million bond. How could federal education changes affect Wake County's already short budget? District leaders and staff met with their congresswoman, who has the ability to weigh in on at the federal level. This all comes amid the Trump administration's recent cuts at the U.S. Department of Education. WRAL's Destiny Patterson is live at Hodge Road Magnet Elementary School with this story. Destiny.
District leaders tell me that programs here at this elementary school are one of many that could be impacted by potential changes at the federal education level here. It comes ahead of the superintendent's budget proposal that's expected to be presented tonight. District leaders met with U.S. Representative Deborah Ross about their concerns. Wake County Schools is preparing in case of federal funding cuts while also trying to balance its own budget shortfall. School leaders also say rising costs and uncertainty at the federal level is making it difficult to plan.
As we develop a budget, we're trying to develop a budget based on what we know that we currently have, but not knowing any given day the shoe could drop and we could lose a tenth of our budget.
The superintendent will release his first draft of that budget proposal during tonight's meeting. And from there, then board members will decide if they need to make any changes before they come up with their final budget request. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are speaking on the phone right now as the two discuss ending the war in Ukraine. And according to ABC News, the latest update about 30 minutes ago, they were still on the phone. That means they have been talking for what would now be 2 hours on the phone. The U.S. is seeking Russia to sign off on a plan. Trump says negotiations with Putin would include discussions around land and power plants. The Kremlin says this phone call will go on for as long as they deem necessary. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he has said in the past that Russia cannot be trusted. Putin cannot be trusted because Russia has not stuck to its previous agreements with Ukraine. Of course, this is something we will be closely following all day long.
Seems like we closely follow the stocks a lot lately, and we're going to take another look at them right now this noon. As you see, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down over 300 points, down 340 right now. It spent the entire morning in red territory. The NASDAQ is the one that's not taking, well, it's down over 300 as well, so just not quite that level. And the S&P 500 is down 72 this noon hour. All major indices in the red, Renee.
Just a few hours from now, tax professionals will be taking your calls, answering your tax questions for free. Tax Pros on Call starts at 4 o'clock today. 5 on your sides. Keely Arthur is here now with how you can get answers straight from the experts. Keely.
Oh, Renee, you know I love this day. When the phone lines open, a federally licensed enrolled agent will be on the other end of the line to answer your tax filing questions. Here's the number to call, 919-234-5007. You can also find that number on WRAL.com. Now, this is a call-in event, and it's a partnership between WRAL and the North Carolina Society of Enrolled Agents. You may be asking yourself, what is an enrolled agent? Well, they are federally licensed tax experts who have earned the privilege of representing taxpayers before the IRS.
We have to take 3 different exams, one for individual tax returns, one for business returns, and then one for basically what you would consider ethics regarding tax returns. And that's basically what an enrolled agent is.
Okay, so now that you've learned a little bit about who will be answering the calls today, we'll talk more about what you can expect when you do call in. That's all coming up at 12:30.
And Kelly, it's so great that these licensed tax professionals donate their time to provide this service. So hopefully people will take advantage of it. We know it'll be a busy afternoon. Kelly, thank you.
Next at noon, ceasefire shattered. The surprise bombardment from Israel that killed hundreds of Palestinians overnight.
Also, next stop, Earth. The Odyssey for 2 astronauts expected to end with splashdown tonight.
Plus, a rite of spring passage at 12:30, the annual scavenger hunt making its return to the Sandhills with a pine cone surprise.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
President Donald Trump plans to release the unredacted files associated with John F. Kennedy's assassination today. Last month, the FBI said it had discovered about 2,400 new records related to the 1963 JFK assassination from a new record search following an executive order from Trump. Trump says all the documents, which is around 80,000 pages, will be released.
Israel launched airstrikes across the Gaza Strip early Tuesday, killing more than 400 Palestinians. It was a surprise bombardment that shattered the fragile ceasefire. Trey Yingst is in Tel Aviv with the story.
Overnight, Israel went back to war against Hamas, launching dozens of airstrikes throughout the Gaza Strip. Massive explosions rocked major population centers, killing hundreds. Among the dead are reported to be numerous senior Hamas officials, but we also know that many are civilians.
People are sleeping peacefully and they don't wake up, and the injured find they have lost their mothers and daughters.
The question now is if this will continue. National Security Council spokesman Brian Hughes said in a statement, quote, Hamas could have released hostages to extend the ceasefire, but instead chose refusal and war. That's a reference to Hamas declining to accept a ceasefire proposal put forward by the Trump administration.
Hamas rejected 2 concrete mediation proposals presented by the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff.
And right now, there are indications that Israel could be preparing to enter Gaza on the ground. Evacuation orders were given Monday morning, with the IDF releasing a map for Palestinians to leave the entirety of the Gaza border area. Israeli officials are telling Hamas if they want the offensive to stop, they need to release the remaining hostages. Israel clearly changing their negotiation tactics here.
From the beginning, this looks and feels different, and I think that the preparations in Israel are for a very different type of military campaign.
That was Trey Yingst reporting. The Israeli Security Cabinet will meet on Thursday night to discuss the new offensive in Gaza.
The parents of missing college student Sudiksha Konanki sent a request to the Dominican Republic police asking to declare her dead. Konanki disappeared on March 6th while on a spring break trip to the country with friends. Police say they believe she may have drowned. Joshua Reby is reportedly the last person seen with her. He's been named a person of interest but has not been charged with any wrongdoing. A source tells Fox News a legal proceeding could happen at some point today.
2 NASA astronauts are on their way home, finally, after a 10-day trip to the International Space Station turned into a 9-month-long waiting game. Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore will return to Earth today. New video shows the SpaceX Dragon undocking from the International Space Station. The hatch closed between the two shortly after 11 p.m. And the crew is expected to splash down just before 6 o'clock tonight off the Florida coast. Be welcome home for them, certainly.
Cannot wait for that. Well, I bet the view from space is pretty phenomenal. This is pretty good, too. We'll take this with the Goldilocks weather out there. Amy, people have to find a way to get outdoors today, definitely.
Try to get outside, get some steps in. Beautiful weather. Highs will be in the 70s this afternoon, so very comfortable out there today. It'll be even warmer tomorrow, but look at the blue sky over RDU right now. It's a beautiful day with nothing but sunshine. 61, the current temperature in Raleigh and in Durham. It's 55 right now in Roxborough, 60 in Clinton, 60 in Southern Pines. In the next few hours, we'll be up to about 64 at 1 o'clock, 68 at 2 p.m., and then 70 by 3 o'clock. Gorgeous weather today. Highs will be in the 70s, 73 for the high in Durham today, 72 in Raleigh, and 74 for the high in Fayetteville. This evening, I know a lot of my neighbors are working on their mulch and working on their yards, getting them ready for spring, which officially arrives Thursday. It's a beautiful evening to do some yard work. Low 70s at 5, upper 60s at 6 p.m., mid 60s at 7 p.m. So really nice weather for the rest of the day today. And we can thank this area of high pressure for that, bringing us nice, quiet weather. As we head into tomorrow, that high pressure system will drive in a pretty strong southwesterly flow and really helps to warm us up. Temperatures will start off in the 40s in the morning, so it'll be chilly to kick off the day tomorrow. So perhaps another day of layers like today. And then at lunchtime, we're at 70 with mostly sunny skies. So it might be a good day to try to eat lunch outside, get some steps in outside on your lunch hour. 81 for the high temperature tomorrow, which is close to 20 degrees above normal for this time of year. We do have another cold front on the way. It's moving through the center part of the country right now, and this is the next weather maker for our area. It arrives Thursday and brings the potential for some rain. This is a look at Futurecast, 10 a.m. The rain still to the west of us, so we should have a dry morning commute on Thursday. As we get to the afternoon, that front starts to move through. We'll have some scattered showers for the bus ride home for the kids, and this will linger into the evening commute. 6 o'clock in the evening, we'll have some scattered showers, and then some cooler air moves in behind the front, and look at that, some snow perhaps in the North Carolina mountains. They could get some measurable snow across especially the higher elevations of the North Carolina mountains late this week once we get that cold air to settle in. Now, storm energy with this particular cold front, it's just almost non-existent. So what that tells us is this is mainly going to be a rain event. We don't expect widespread severe weather. We might not even get thunderstorms out of this because the energy is so low as that front swings through. So this looks just like some plain old rain for Thursday. Now, something interesting though, there's wildfires, there's strong winds across the western part of the country, and with a west to southwest flow developing across our area in advance of the front, we could see some dust and smoke blow into the area, and that could cause for a bit of a dirty rain. Your car, you'll notice it, will probably be dirty after the rain that we get on Thursday because we'll have some of that smoke and dust in the air. Super nice, right? To kick off spring officially on Thursday. We'll get some of that rain, 72 for the high. And then it's cooler behind the front, 62 on Friday. It's a mixed bag over the weekend. Some rain Saturday. It's dry Sunday. I'll have more on the weekend forecast coming up in the next half hour.
I like 80 degrees, but we don't have to get that warm for a extended
a little early
amount of time. That's right. Well, easing the burden. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, cancer screenings can be costly. The proposed bill that would help save lives by catching the disease early.
At 5 o'clock, we'll talk about the big UNC San Diego matchup, what to expect from tonight's matchup. And still ahead this noon, frozen food recall. Up next, the popular food brands recalling frozen meals and what to do if you have them in your freezer.
And lawsuit filed. The family of an 8-year-old killed at her babysitter's house is pushing for justice in her death. How they hope this next step will bring more closure.
Google has made its biggest acquisition ever. The tech giant just announced a deal to buy cybersecurity firm Wiz for $32 billion. Privately held Wiz makes cybersecurity software for cloud computing. The New York-based company has enjoyed explosive growth since launching just 5 years ago. The Google Wiz deal is still subject to regulatory approval.
2 popular frozen meal brands are recalling batches of their products over a potential presence of foreign material. The recall affects Lean Cuisine's butternut squash ravioli, spinach artichoke ravioli, and lemon garlic shrimp stir fry. It also includes the Stouffer's party-sized chicken lasagna. The affected products were made between August 24th and March 2025. If you have these in your freezer, you're asked to return them for a refund. Whole Foods is recalling a popular snack over undeclared eggs and meat ingredients. It impacts these 365 Whole Foods markets, Small Bites, macaroni and cheese. The FDA says the recalled units have a best buy date of November 29th of this year. No illnesses have been reported yet. If you have these, the FDA says toss it out and bring a valid receipt to the store of purchase for a refund.
Egg prices may be cooling off just a bit, but egg demand is expected to spike as Easter gets closer. Egg prices are down from last week, the average dozen sitting at about $4.90 nationwide on average. And supply chain experts say that while this is promising news, it is important to expect some volatility, especially as people plan to dye some eggs for Easter. More than 160 million birds in the U.S. have been killed because of bird flu outbreaks in their flocks.
As we eliminate these birds, it takes 6 months to replace those layers, which can create these really nasty supply chain bottlenecks as we develop our egg supply here in the United States.
And if you're hosting an Easter gathering, it may be best to make desserts that don't require eggs and use fake eggs for decorations.
Pushing for justice. Next, the action one local family is taking in the death of their 8-year-old daughter and how they hope to save more lives like hers in the future.
And removing Lady Liberty, why one French lawmaker is declaring the U.S. send the statue back after nearly 150 years. Here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen. We'll be right back.
We continue to follow breaking news out of Durham. 2 women are hurt after stabbing.
Yeah, this happened right near the Urban Ministries of Durham on Main and Dillard Streets, and that is where we find WRAL's Chelsea Donovan. Chelsea, what more are we learning about what happened there?
Yeah, this is still a very active scene here at Urban Ministries, where, as you mentioned it, 2 women were stabbed, one with non-life-threatening injuries, one with serious injuries, rather. And I've seen Durham police really focus their investigation on that SUV there, that Dodge, where they have been, the crime scene investigators have been taking fingerprints and whatnot. We should mention, I talked to a gentleman who was inside of Urban Ministries just before this stabbing broke out around 10:15. He said the 2 women were in the cafeteria having some breakfast when that fight spilled out to the parking lot. Let's show you some of that Sky 5 video we have now. What happened was one woman was stabbed right here in this parking lot, and then another woman was found just about a block away with injuries as well. We can tell you they're still right in the heart of their investigation at this time. One thing to note is that this is an incident that is very much isolated, so no threat to the public. Obviously, we will be working on the conditions of those 2 women and bringing the latest as we hear more from Durham police. Live in downtown Durham, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
Another story we've been working on in the last hour, the family of this 8-year-old Genesis Dockery, who was shot and killed by an 11-year-old at her babysitter's house, officially filed a lawsuit against the babysitter and the owner of the gun. A news conference just wrapped up, and WRAL's Carly Haynes was there and spoke with the family. Carly, what do they hope comes out of this?
They want the adults to be held accountable in this case as well. This is the first time that we're seeing any action taken against anyone other than that 11-year-old boy who is accused of shooting Genesis Dockery. Now, the lawsuit seeks $25,000 for treatment, funeral costs, and also the emotions, the grief that the family has felt. Civil rights attorneys in Dockery's family are suing both the 11-year-old's mom, who was babysitting Dockery at the time, and the 11-year-old's grandfather, who they say owns the gun the boy got a hold of. The lawsuit claims the grandfather, Thomas Michael, failed to secure the gun and did not report it missing from his safe. It also claims both he and the boy's mother, Crystal Michael, should have known he had a strong interest in guns.
We stand here today to own up to our human responsibility, our parental responsibility, to ask for justice and transparency for the life, the light, and the advocacy of Genesis Dockery.
Crystal Michael spoke to WRAL documentary reporter Kristen Severance for the documentary Unsafe: North Carolina Kids Dying from Gun Violence. According to her, her father never changed the generic code the gun safe came with. She says somehow her son figured that out and got a hold of the gun. The 11-year-old is accused of manslaughter. Now, this case is also top of mind because there's a piece of legislation moving through the legislature right now under Genesis Dockery's name. It would charge anybody who fails to report their gun as stolen or missing if it is eventually used in a crime. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
And as you mentioned right there, Carly, the WRAL documentary team spoke with Genesis' father and the babysitter after the shooting. You can watch Unsafe: North Carolina Kids Dying from Gun Violence on WRALdoc.com.
Today is a great day to get your taxes started if you haven't already. Tax Pros On Call is happening this afternoon starting at 4, and Tax Pros will be answering your tax filing questions for free. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur joins us now with how to get ready to call in. Keely, a big day.
It's a huge day, Renee. You've got a little bit of time to get your questions ready. The phone lines don't open until later this afternoon at 4 p.m. That's when you can call 919-234-5007 to reach a federally licensed tax professional. It helps to have some basic information and documents on hand to have your question and a brief explanation of your situation ready. And remember, when you call in, this event gets hundreds of calls. So there are only so many enrolled agents volunteering. Pack your patience.
If you call in and you got to wait a while, just be patient. We'll get to you. And just remember that we can only give you general advice. We can't give you any specifics because we don't know your whole situation.
We so appreciate James Cox and all the other volunteers. Again, the number to call starting at 4, 919-234-5007. Much more about this great event coming up tonight on WRAL and right now on WRAL.com.
And Keely, we know taxes are complicated, and this is one way to make them a little less so. We appreciate you and the volunteers. Keely, thank you.
Wake County homeowners will get property tax revaluations more frequently in the future. The Board of Commissioners approved a new revaluation cycle yesterday. Property owners will first start getting revaluation every 3 years and eventually then every 2 years. The reason is to reduce the sticker shock property owners can get from getting adjustments every 4 years. Board members say the jump people saw from 2020 to 2024 created financial uncertainty for many families. Tonight, people in Cumberland County have a chance to talk to school leaders about what they want to see in a new superintendent. Dr. Marvin Connolly is set to retire July 1st after serving in that role for 6 years. The school board is hosting a meeting tonight for families, staff, and the community to talk about what they'd like to see prioritized for Cumberland County schools in the future. That meeting is happening from 6:30 to 7:30 tonight at Grays Creek High School in Hope Mills. If you can't make it tonight, another session will be held tomorrow at 6:30 at Douglas Byrd High School in Fayetteville.
Free tuition, the Ivy League school that's helping out some families to make sure their children have the chance to get a good education. And give her back, why one French lawmaker is asking the U.S. to return the Statue of Liberty after nearly 150 years. Take WRAL News with you on the go. Download the WRAL News app for breaking news, weather updates, and watch our live newscasts. Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla are set to visit Pope Francis during their trip to Italy and the Vatican next month. This comes as the Pope has been in the hospital for weeks. The King and Queen are expected to go to the Holy See to join the Pope in celebrating Jubilee Year or Holy Year. The palace also describes it as a significant step forward in relations between the Catholic Church and Church of England. Harvard says tuition will be free for families making $200,000 or less. Undergraduate students from families with annual incomes of $100,000 or less will not only have tuition covered, but also housing, food, health services, and other student services. Students from a family making an annual income of $200,000 or less will be able to attend Harvard tuition free. The annual tuition for an undergraduate student is $56,550. With the addition of housing, food, health services, and those other services, the annual cost is $82,866 to go to Harvard. After nearly 150 years serving as a beacon of democracy, a French lawmaker is requesting the Statue of Liberty return to France. European Parliament member Raphael Glucksmann said, "We gave it to you as a gift, but apparently you despise it." He alluded to mass government layoffs in the U.S. The statue was a gift from France to the U.S. after the Civil War. The UNESCO World Heritage Convention says the U.S. federal government is the symbol's rightful owner. A perfect bracket. Who wouldn't want that? Next, the cool trip you could experience if all your March Madness predictions are correct. And find the pine cone. Next, we'll take a trip to the WRAL Azalea Gardens to learn more about a local program and where you can go to find one. It is almost spring and the weather has certainly felt like it. That might mean you're spending more time outside. But what if the outside time involved a fun scavenger hunt involving some handmade pine cones? WRAL's Jeff Hogan made his way down to the Azalea Gardens to tell us more about the Pine Cone Pathways program. And Jeff, viewers even have the chance to find one of their own.
It's a great scavenger hunt, Renee. I don't need any reason to get out on the trails, but this is certainly one of them. Who wouldn't want one of these? This comes from the Pine Cone Pathways program in Moore County. It's the third year that they're doing this, and it starts with spring, so just a couple days away, we're going to get it kicked off. So Melissa Holt is here with the Pinehurst Southern Pines Aberdeen Convention and Visitors Bureau. Did you ever think that it would be this big? You have people coming from out of state for this.
All across like the eastern part of the United States, they're coming to hunt for these pine cones.
Super neat.
They're little works of art.
They are cool. Well, they're glass. I mean,
yes.
Where do they come from? How do you get these together?
So we worked with Star Works, glass makers in Star, and they make these special glass mold for us, and it's unique to our program. You can only get them here at Pine Cone Pathways.
All right, it's a scavenger hunt.
Yes.
Okay, so give me the rules while I try to see where you hid one on me.
Yeah,
I can't go tearing up flowers.
So it has to be within 3 feet of the trail.
Okay.
And no more than 3 feet high.
Okay. So you can put
that's
it up.
That's the rules.
You could put it up higher if you. Oh, look at this. Look at this. All right. I got it. So what happens when people find these now?
So they need to scan the QR code and register their pine cone.
Oh my gosh.
See the QR codes on the back?
I do?
Yep, you register it, and then that qualifies you to win the grand prize.
And
with all kinds of cool stuff.
All kinds of cool stuff. And you've got 100 of these that are going out, okay? And that encourages people to just have an adventure, have some exercise, which I love out there. And, you know, it's a scavenger. So who doesn't love that? And they're all, you put them out, what, 20 a week? Is that right?
Well, ish. Wait, that's kind of a secret. So 20-ish for 5 weeks. So the program runs through April 22nd, Earth Day.
All right.
So come visit us in Moore County, stay a whole weekend, and search for these beautiful pine cones.
Moore County is the spot. I'll tell you, these are beautiful, okay? And with this runs through Easter, right? So it's gonna come up for the next several weeks starting on Thursday.
Yep.
And Renee, with the price of eggs right now, pine cones are free. You just have to find one.
Pine cones are
down
free.
there, right? These are really cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Melissa. I appreciate it. I'll be down to visit. Renee?
And the pine cones are beautiful. They are truly works of art. I think they made that scavenger hunt easy for you, Hogan. But a good job there. I can't wait to go out to the gardens to find some more. Oh, it's a beautiful day to visit our gardens. And you know what? We're probably another week or two before those azaleas will start blooming, right, Amy?
I think so, especially with these warmer temperatures. We'll be in the 80s tomorrow. That's also going to produce more tree pollen. And so allergy sufferers, beware. It's going to be in the high category. Beautiful, though. It's a blue sky over downtown Raleigh right now. 61 degrees is the current temperature. Winds are out of the north generally at 10 miles per hour. We're going to switch that flow to the south tomorrow, and that's why it's going to warm up. 72 today, not bad. The normal this time of year is 64. But tomorrow with that southwest wind, 81 for the high temperature, and then back down to 72 Thursday. That comes with another cold front and the potential for some rain, which will hopefully help the pollen get washed out of the air a little bit, but it's still expected to be in the high category. The tree pollen today, Wednesday, and Thursday, despite the rain that's headed our way on Thursday. This evening, looking pretty good. It'll be pretty nice outside. Mid-60s at 7 p.m. We're in the low 60s at 8 p.m. And then we're back down into the 50s at 9, 10, 11 o'clock tonight. It'll be nice and dry this evening. The next weather maker is a cold front that's going to arrive on Thursday. Scattered showers will be likely as the front arrives. But what I've noticed is the storm energy is really, really low. And that just means it doesn't look like we're going to have severe weather with this particular round. We might not even have any thunderstorms. It's probably just going to be plain old rain with this round. And it looks like we'll get some rain, about 1/4 of an inch to maybe a 1/10 of an inch in spots, maybe even 1/2 an inch in a couple of isolated locations. So Thursday, we have some rain that will arrive. It's going to arrive after the morning commute. Most of the models are in good agreement that this is going to arrive in the afternoon and continue during the evening commute. Behind that front that brings the rain, it's going to turn colder. So it could be another morning where we have to watch out for a little bit of frost. Friday morning, we could get down to 33 in Roxborough, 36 in Durham, 37 in Raleigh, and 38 in Fayetteville. So it is a little bit colder behind that front. And that front also could bring some snow to the North Carolina mountains late Thursday into Friday as well. Looking ahead to the weekend, we're getting closer. It's a small rain chance Saturday. I went ahead, I've been looking at the latest model data. We did have a 30% chance for rain. Models are really backing off. So I went ahead and took the raindrops off of the icon there. And the NC Courage has their first home game at 7 o'clock in the evening. Should be pretty nice. It'll be a little cool. We'll have a high of 69 on Saturday. Sunday, beautiful weather, pretty much like today. A lot of sunshine with high temperatures close to 70 degrees. So the weekend is really looking good. Just a small chance for a shower on Saturday. Gorgeous today. I hope you can get outside and get some fresh air. It is so nice. 72 for the high, 44 overnight tonight. So it will be chilly tomorrow. You'll probably want some layers because we'll jump to 81 in the afternoon. Very warm tomorrow. And then we'll have to deal with some rain Thursday, especially the second half of the day. It's the first official day of spring, and it will be cooler behind the front. 62 for the high. We talked about the weekend earlier. Overall looking good, but we do have some rain that's going to work in for early next week. Monday, scattered showers with a high of 71.
Amy, thanks. Out of this world prize. Next, what you could win if you fill out a perfect March Madness bracket this year. And here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers: 11, 18, 23, 38, and 60. The Powerball is 9 and the Power Play is 2. Nobody won the big jackpot today, so the next drawing will be for an estimated $416 million. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. We're following breaking news. Crews are still searching for a 7-year-old boy who disappeared in the Tar River in Franklinton. Authorities say the boy was playing near the water and fell in last night around 5:30. We spoke with a cousin representing the family of that 7-year-old boy just hours ago, and they are asking for prayers as the search continues.
Also, in the last hour, the family of this 8-year-old who was shot and killed by an 11-year-old at her babysitter's house officially filed a lawsuit. Genesis Dockery's family made the announcement in the last hour, and the lawsuit seeks $25,000 for treatment, funeral costs, and grief. It claims grandfather Thomas Michael failed to secure that gun and did not report it missing from his safe. It also claims both he and the boy's mother, Christy Michael, should have known he had a strong interest in guns.
NC State has a new chancellor. Kevin Howell will take over the role as the university's 15th chancellor in May. He takes over for Chancellor Randy Woodson, who will retire at the end of June after 15 years. Howell will be the first black chancellor in NC State history. He will also be the first NC State former student body president to hold the position as chancellor.
City in the United States has made a top 10 list for the best food around the world. Unfortunately, it's not here in North Carolina.
New Orleans came in the #1 spot. The global survey was released by Time Out, and more than 18,000 people took part. The Louisiana city is known for its diverse culinary blend of French, Spanish, Vietnamese, and African influences. New Orleans is also where you can get some of the best gumbo, jambalaya, and beignets. Bangkok, Thailand came in at #2, while Colombia was #3. Well, completing a perfect March Madness bracket this year could earn you a prize that is out of this world.
You were close,
literally.
Astrid.
Oh, yeah, so close.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, just by 2 or so. Just kidding.
X, formerly known as Twitter, launching the X Bracket Challenge. Look at it here. Anyone who fills out a flawless March Madness bracket will win a trip to Mars. The winner could also alternatively choose a prize of $250,000 a year of Starlink VIP viewing of a Starship launch, among other prizes that are out there.
I would choose the $250K.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think I'm with you there. Yeah. This is a little different March bracket this season. And y'all, we have a champion in the 2025 Spring Slang Showdown.
The South's most iconic greeting, y'all, takes the crown. Dictionary.com lined up a field of 32 of the most iconic local slang from all across the country. Let people vote on them. The online competition started with words including nor'easter, skedaddle, yonder, and hankering. In the final round, Stoked from the West was beaten by y'all. And that's Y''all. Don't do the YA''LL. That's wrong. No. It's you all.
Yeah.
Yeah. That brings us to today's pet of the day. Meet Molly. She's a 6-month-old German Shepherd and still growing. Molly is loyal, clever, and entertaining. She is friendly with other dogs and would love someone with a flexible schedule. So if you are interested in Molly, apply to redbarnrescue.com today to meet her.
Measles outbreak. Current measles cases surpassed last year's total. Coming up on WRAL News at 4, how declining vaccinations are playing a role and who needs another shot.
Okay, y'all, that does it for us. The sunshine is calling. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update in 30 minutes.
I can vouch. It's pretty good out there. And we're going to get out there again. You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Y'all have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.